Hi, welcome to the video. My name is Yogi, and I will be going over Hitman Reborn's power system, also known as the Dying Wolf Flames. And this entire video will be anime only, so no manga spoilers for those who may not have read it yet or are still reading it but have not finished it. So don't worry about getting spoiled. But if you have not seen the anime, I recommend you do that first, because there will be spoilers for that in here. Alright, but pretty much basics of it is Dying Wolf Flames are the symbol of the mafia world in this anime. And each Dying Wolf Flame has a different shape and has its own characteristic or an effect that it does. And they're pretty much just a high density form of energy that is refined from one's life force due to the way it resonates with one's emotions. So depending on how a character feels, the flame will react in a different way, pretty much. And Dying Wolf Flames, which is similar to other anime power systems like Chakra or Nin, is a wave energy that is in every single living person in the world. So every person has it, but also like those power systems, not every person can use it. It's also possible for people to be born with multiple different flames energies in their body. However, the chances of them using multiple of them are very low. But the ones who can use multiple of them are considered very gifted. And now with that out of the way, let's talk about the different types of flames and their effects. So, going off of the order of the circle, we will be starting off with storm flames, which are the red ones. They are a offensive, highly offensive flame that are primarily used for attacking, and its effect is disintegration, pretty much causing anything it touches to decay and break apart, including other Dying Wolf Flames as well. Some storm users include Gokudera, Belphegor, and Fawn. Now with that out of the way, let's move on to rain flames. Rain flames, which are mostly blue with shimmering particles that seem to flow through them, giving them the appearance similar to rippling water. Its effect, which is tranquility, allows it to weaken anything it touches, along with slowing down opponents' movements or attacks. And a person who is very proficient in the usage of rain flames can use this effect to such a degree that anything entering a certain barrier will be completely immobilized, effectively breaking any machine or killing a human. These flames can also negate and cancel out other flames as well. And rain flames can be frozen, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Some rain users include Yamamoto, Squallow, and Basil. Now we move on to lightning flames. Lightning flames, which are more similar to electricity than actual flames, but they are light green with a neon green electricity-like spikes going around it. Its effect is hardening, which allows it to solidify and increase the firmness of objects. Using the flames by themselves and not on the object, you are able to make a barrier with it if you want to use them defensively, or if you want to use them offensively, you can use them to cut things like it's a blade. And of course, it can be used to electrocute people like actual electricity. Some lightning users include Lambo, Gamma, and Verde. Next up are cloud flames. Cloud flames have a very simple design of light purple on the outside and dark purple on the inside. Its effect is propagation, which carries the ability of increasing and multiplying. And with that effect, it allows it to pretty much multiply any objects. It works best when performing techniques involving a large area, such as creating a cyclone or an impervious force field. Some cloud users include Hibari, Skull, and Kikyo. Now onto mist flames. When it comes to mist flames, there are actually two different types of them. There are soft mist flames, which are light indigo, which turns into an even lighter indigo closer to its source. And then there are hard mist flames, Giggity, which are a very dark indigo and do not have a core. Its effect is construction, which pretty much allows it to be making illusions, and not just fake illusions, but also real ones which can fool people's senses. And these illusions can be used for either escaping or rendering the opponent vulnerable to an attack. It's even possible for stronger illusions to affect bodily functions, such as the character named Chrome, who actually survives off of illusionary organs. Some misusers include Chrome, Genkishi, and Viper. Next up, we have Sun Flames. Sun Flames possess a whitish core with layers of yellow enveloping it. Their most distinct characteristic are the small sparkles that look similar to small stars. Its effect is activation, which has the power to induce and improve the efficiency of any type of activity. It can increase the rate of blood flow and cell regeneration, making it optimal for support roles such as healing and strengthening individuals. It can also stimulate muscles and joints, increasing the user's body functions drastically. However, overusing this effect can actually lead to cellular death. Some Sun users include Ryohei, Shoichi, and Reborn. Now, we'll talk about Sky Flames. Sky Flames, which are the most rare out of the 7 types of Sky Flames, are the most rare out of all of them, and they also have 2 types of flames as well. We have Soft Sky Flames, which are the most comparable to actual fire as they can burn objects and release heat. It is also colored orange in its core with yellow-orange to bright yellow outlines, and it even flickers like fire. Then we have Hard Sky Flames. They are released by an increase in explosive energy and are used for a straight burst of speed or simply raw power. Its core has a reddish shade of orange, and the parts closer to the edges are colored by varying shades of orange with sparkling crystal-like particles. The fact, which is described as having many mysteries, is harmony. This represents a state without contradiction, nor flaws in which the balance of the whole is maintained. Yeah. It's a very weird way of putting it. I don't think I understand it completely either. This effect allows it to combine with other types of Dying Will Flames to create a new one, which I will go over soon. Also, the main character Suna has a move known as the 0-point breakthrough revive, which uses this harmony effect as it harmonizes with the enemy's flame and absorbs it. Sky Flames have also been shown having the ability to petrify people and objects, as seen on the effects of, and I might pronounce this wrong, the effects of the Ligre Tempesta di Cielis, Rikito di Cieli, which is something that Suna's box weapon, Natsu or Nuts, can also do. Some Sky users include Uni, Byakuran, and Suna. Now we have finished going over all 7 Sky Flames, but there are 2 more flames I want to go into for reasons that I will explain later. The first one will be known as the Flame of Wrath, or also known as the Flame of Rage, and it's a very powerful and exceedingly rare type of flame. It is said that among the Vongala bosses, the only one who fought with this flame was the second one. He's also the only Vongala boss who fought with his bare hands as well, seeing as this flame doesn't need a ring or anything else to ignite it. It has also been hinted at through the anime that it is a combination of sky and storm flames. The special effect of this flame is its extreme destructive power, which can reduce anything to ashes, which sounds very similar, if not the same, to storm flames with disintegration, but I guess they're different somehow. But also, this flame was only seen when the second Vongala boss was enraged, thus the reason why it's called the Flame of Wrath. The only users of this flame is the Vongala second boss and Zoxus. This next and last flame that I'll be explaining is not canonical in any way to the anime or the manga. It only appears in the game, or one of the games that Hitman Reborn has, known as Katekyo Hitman Reborn DS Fate of Heat 3 Yuki no Shugosha Raishu. And the flame that we'll be going over is known as the Snow Flame, which has its first and only appearance in this game. The Snow Flame seems to vaguely resemble Mist Flames in appearance, though they are much lighter in color. The margins of the flame gradually turn to a lighter blue, and there are also some sparkling elements inside the flame. This flame's effect is to freeze enemies' flames. However, this flame is revealed to be simply disguised sky flames, and thus the freezing ability was through the use of the 0-point breakthrough first edition. The only user of this flame is Galaro, who only appears in the game. Now, with all the explaining out of the way, let me talk about my feelings and thoughts on the power system. Overall, I think it's a really great power system. It's very creative and different from other animes as well. And I didn't even talk about the box weapons, which was added onto the power system later on in the series. The flames are all unique and have different abilities from each other. It's also a very unique way of making fire or flames in anime. Though I do have some questions about things, which is what I'll be going on for the rest of the video, along with theories. When it comes to flames, they're graded on purity, and the more pure a flame is, the stronger it is and the stronger its effect is. And that is what the hard mist and hard sky flames are, hard sky flames being the most pure flames out of any of them. So my question is, why haven't we seen any hard flames of any of the other ones? We may have seen hard sun flames, but there was no visual difference really, like with mist and sky flames. So it's very iffy on whether it was or not. It just said that those are very pure flames. Alright, now I'm going to rank the orders in order of best to worst, and this is all just my opinion on it. So I think in order of best flames to worst flames, it is sky, rain, mist, cloud, storm and sun are equal, and lightning. Now the reason why I put lightning flames at the bottom of the list is because compared to the other ones, they're just kind of underwhelming, you know. Their ability is to harden things and objects, right? However, that does not apply to the person themselves. So no one can use lightning flames on their own body to, you know, make themselves harder. Yeah. They can use it on objects, and they can even use lightning flames by themselves to make shields, but it's not like that's impossible to get around. We've seen it get through it with storm flames and rain flames, really. And while the flames can be used offensively, you know, as lightning and can pierce things, I still don't think that's really enough to give it an edge over a experienced flame user. You know, so I think that would make him the worst out of the 7. Not saying it's a bad flame, but just not as good as the other ones. Next we have sun and storm flame. And I'm going to start with sun flame. Sun flames, in my opinion, are underused because I believe that sun flames can be used on themselves, seeing as when Ryohei uses his box weapon, which is powered by his own flames, and when he used it to shoot himself, it actually temporarily healed him and gave him a boost of regular physical abilities. And it temporarily heals him for a moment. So I would guess that you could just heal yourself with the flames. Using flames on yourself could increase your own body functions and make you stronger. But it doesn't seem like we really see people using it on themselves too much, or other items, because we saw with Gokudera, who can also use sun flames, he used it to make bullets go faster. So technically people could just throw like a spear, right, and use sun flames on it, and its speed will just increase like halfway through it. The only sun flame users that are really memorable are Ryohei, Luxuria, Reborn obviously, and Shoichi. However, both Ryohei and Luxuria are fighters, right? Ryohei uses boxing and Luxuria uses Muay Thai, but you don't really see them using sun flames into it that much to make themselves stronger. There was, like in the future with 10 years later, Ryohei, he had like support items like boxing gloves, but as far as I know, he wasn't really using flames on himself there. But then you have Shoichi, who doesn't even fight really. He has sun flames, but he doesn't actually use them or fight with them. And of course there's Reborn, everyone loves him, but he doesn't fight in the show except during that filler arc, I guess. So honestly, I wish we just saw people using sun flames more often, especially on themselves and other objects like Gokudera did. Then we have storm flames, which I think are equally as good as sun flames. And I don't think I need to explain why it's a good thing that no one uses storm flames on themselves, right? But with storm flames, while they do have the disintegration effect and are just really good at destroying things, there isn't too much else to them though. Now, even though the flames are just really straightforward, obviously a character can just come in and do something very interesting with them to make it better. Like with Gokudera, he has the flame arrow, which is pretty much like I guess it's like a arm cannon, really? Yeah, it's like a cannon, but strapped to his arm. And he can use this to where with the skull's mouth, he can either open it wider to make it so that anytime he shoots storm flames out of it, it will still disintegrate people's flames, but it won't actually hurt a person. Or he can close the mouth where, since all those flames are more concentrated, it can actually hurt people that way. So that's a very interesting way of going about it. But there is one thing about it which is kind of like not really a plot hole, but it's just something that was never even answered. During the future arc, one of the characters, Zakuro, was actually able to make his flames invisible, and he used storm flames too. And that was never answered, like how he could do that. And it was like, okay, so can anyone just turn their flames invisible, or is it only, storm flames? There was a time where Genkashi, who uses mist flames, can like hide his, but it's like they're mist flames. The whole thing is using illusions pretty much. You would think that you could just use that to hide things. So that's just a question on whether other people can do that or not. Then we have cloud flames. Not too much to say about them, right? They're good. But there is the question of, since they can multiply objects, if someone were to use cloud flames on their own body, could they like multiply themselves, like make a clone like Twice from My Hero Academia? And if they did make a clone, would it work just like him, like with Twice, where if they take too much damage, they'll like disappear? If the original user runs out of flames, then the clones will disappear, or like will they like stick around? Like what happens with the clones? I know I'm asking questions about this stuff like as if it already does it right. But there is the Arcabaleno Skull, who does have this very weird ability. It's called Armored Muscle Body, but pretty much it lets him gain a large amount of muscle, though he still stays the size of a baby, because Arcabaleno. And I would guess that the way he can even use this ability is because of cloud flames, thinking that maybe like cloud flames can multiply things. Maybe he's like multiplying his muscles or something, I don't know. But if it is how that works, then that's very interesting, because you don't ever see anyone else doing that, using cloud flames to their own muscles. And honestly, that would be a really good way too to explain why Habari is so strong, because they just don't do that. They could probably say something like, oh, he's just unconsciously using cloud flames on his muscles, which is the reason why he was always so strong. That'd be something good. But we don't have an explanation like that. So because of that, Habari is still the worst 10th generation Guardian character-wise. Then we have Mist Flames, which are also good, but I put them higher than Cloud Flames, because I just think that making illusions is better than just multiplying objects, Let's be honest, people who use illusions in media tend to be very cool. You can even use Mist Flames to disguise yourself as someone else, and I would assume that using that same logic, you could also turn yourself invisible, seeing as Genkashi could make his attacks invisible by coating them with Mist Flames. So pretty much, Mist Flames are really good. The only real downside, I guess, is that they can be seen through by a skilled person or other skilled mist users. Yeah, because just like with the fight when it was Viper or Mammon versus Chrome/Mukuro, there was a moment where that Mammon was kind of falling for Mukuro's illusions, and because of that, that makes it even easier for Mukuro to get more illusions off on him. So I think that shows that like it could battle between two mist users could kind of go either way. Yeah, it's saying that like pretty much it's like, yes, being a better illusionist would probably help too, but it's also like just mental fortitude, I guess, whether your mind is stronger than your opponent's really. Then we have Rain Flames, which I think are really good since they have the effect of being able to slow people down and slow objects and even illusions down too. We also saw that in the anime and in the manga that Lao Merch, she used Rain Flames in her fight against Ginger, and when she did that, her whole body was surrounded with Rain Flames, but she didn't get slowed down, meaning that someone could use Rain Flames on themselves and not actually slow themselves down. Maybe we kind of already see that too with Yamamoto using Rain Flames on the sword, but it's like, well, but he uses the flames on the blade part, and it's not like that's really moving from anything other than his own arm moving, so I guess that doesn't really count. But I think the Lao Merch example is a good example of showing that they could do it. So I guess there wouldn't really be any benefits to it because when Lao Merch was doing it, she was using it to counteract sun flames that Ginger had put in her body, or more like he put, like, I think there were insects in her body that he was making speed up their growth by using sun flames. So she used the rain flames to counteract the sun flames effect. So these flames can do a lot, and then there's also that a person who can use these flames good enough can even slow down a person's heart, literally killing them. And then there's also the thing that I talked about earlier, how it said it can be hardened into ice. However, that only happened during an anime only filler arc, so it's questionable whether or not that can really happen. But if it can happen, then that just makes it even better. If it doesn't happen, I still think they're, number 2 best flames. Now at number 1, obviously, is Sky Flames. Now, first of all, obviously Sky Flames are the only ones that actually act like fire. Then there's also the fact of them being able to petrify people and objects, though that might only be possible with the box weapons that Suna and Sonxus have. I would assume that other Sky box weapons could possibly do it, like Dino's horse box weapon. That might be able to do it too, I'm not sure. That begs the question, can Skyflame users petrify people themselves? Then you have the 0-point breakthrough abilities. First you have the first edition, which is able to seal flames away, and then that also has the question too that it could technically freeze people. Since Suna was fighting Zonxus, he used it to freeze Zonxus completely, and I would assume that was because since it's used to seal flames, and the whole power system has the whole wave energy going through their body, so flames are already inside of them, so I guess that's how he froze him solid. But that wouldn't work on, like, let's say a person in the real world without these flames in their body. But he did freeze the water in the feature arc when they were in the Marone base. He was going against the Golem Moscas that Spanner had built, and when they were in the water he froze it. But that may have been because the Golem Moscas run off of Dying Will Flames and they were already using that to get into the water, so maybe they were somehow still kind of in the water, which made it all freeze. I'm not really sure how that works or not. And then we have the 0-point breakthrough Revise, which, as I said earlier, harmonizes with the opponent's flame and uses it to absorb it and add to the user's own power. And so that's obviously a good thing, because you can get stronger with that, or temporarily stronger, because eventually you're gonna have to use the flames, pretty sure. And then there's also the fact that Sky Flames can fuse with other flames as well. Now, we've only seen that with Storm Flames though, but that would mean that it is possible, since the whole harmonizing effect, it's possible for it to fuse with other flames as well. I think it'd be really cool to see them fuse with it, because in the anime you only see them fuse with Storm Flames, and that's really cool, but I wish we could see them fuse with the other ones too. Like, what would Sky and Rain Flames look like, or what would they do? A harmonizing and a slowing effect put together. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe it would oh, well, that could be someone slowing down until they eventually turn to stone. That could be kind of cool. So yeah, I just wish we were able to see Sky Flames fuse with other flames more. But it's also the fact that with the 0-point breakthrough techniques, well, the first edition was created by Vongla Primo, the first Vongla boss, but the Revise was created by Suna himself. And we know for a fact that the Vongla 9th can use the first edition. So now that's like, okay, can anyone else use it? The first edition, or have they just not tried it? Or maybe it's like a really hard technique to learn, so it'd be difficult. And then that's like, okay, well, how many other people can use the 0-point breakthrough Revise like Suna can? Can the 9th also do it? Could Zonxus learn how to use it if he took the guns out of his hands? Or could he just absorb it through the guns? Actually, that'd be kind of interesting, just someone shoots flames enemy, holds the guns up, and then they just go into the gun and into him. That'd be kind of interesting. But then that begs the question of, what if like it's a lot of flames and maybe the guns can't hold that much, so maybe they'll like go in there and then eventually it's like, oh, too much, and they just break. That, actually, I think I'd like to see that. That'd be kind of cool. And then there was this question, and this is the reason why I talked about the snow flame earlier from the game. technically it's not canon, but we all know that it said it was Sky Flames disguised as, you know, the first edition 0 Point Breakthrough, and we already know that's a canon technique though. So that begs the question, all right, so could Suna technically do something like that? Like in the story, could Suna maybe use his flame, maybe turn it blue using that as well? Could he fight instead with his fire, but instead fight with like ice, you know? Because the Sky Flames already like fire. Like if he punched someone, they would feel like, okay, yeah, this is hot, it's burning them, right? But what if he's kind of doing what Galaro was doing with like using the 0 Point Breakthrough first edition on it? So instead, this time, let's say like he punched someone like with a lot of it, right? All of a sudden it's like you see like a frost on their cheek, or they got like frostbite in their cheek now because of that punch. I just think that'd be really cool if he could like fight with using the fire and then maybe like switch it, and then now it's like ice, you know, and instead of flames coming off his hands, maybe it's like I guess steam. I think that'd be really cool to see, and that's like a question I really want to know that's like possible at all. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about Sky Flames and all the other flames as well. Yeah, other than that, I just wish that we saw more people use multiple flames. Lao Merch could use them. She had 3, right? But then you had Gokudera, who had the most, using 5, and I just wish we saw like more people being able to like use at least 2 different kinds of flames in fighting. But yeah, those were the order of which flames I thought were better. My favorite flames though, not going off of the best, my favorite ones would be Sky, Rain, Storm, Cloud, Sun, Mist, then Lightning. Yeah, let me know in the comments below, what are your favorite flames and what 2 flames would you have if you ever got them? Leave comments down below on maybe some theories you have, you know, or maybe expand on some of the ones I said here, why you think it would work or why you think it wouldn't work. Yeah, and I might make a video talking about the manga too for manga readers, and then go off on talking about those stuff and theories and more on that. So if you read the manga and want to see that, I guess I might work on that. So thank you for watching, and bye.